Maine schools are under pressure. Districts and many parents want to keep students in the classroom, but keeping those students safe is not easy right now.
46 Maine schools battled COVID outbreaks in the last 30 days. In that time, schools reported nearly 1,400 cases of the virus. It all puts renewed focus on the efforts to vaccinate eligible students and teachers. Good evening and thanks for joining us on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Chris Costa. Thank you for joining us. New today, the Maine Department of Labor clarified that public workers in our state will be required to follow President Biden's wide-ranging pandemic plan. And that plan includes a new requirement from OSHA. All public sector employers with 100 or more employees must either get the vaccine or provide a weekly negative COVID test result. And we now know that requirement will include public school staff. Let's take a closer look.
That our educators are working really hard again already in some just such challenging times.
A new school year, a worsening pandemic. School districts and staff are trying to keep their students safe.
That our educators want to be in school with our students, and we want our students in school.
Keeping in-person learning on track requires preventing the spread of COVID-19.
Come up and change how many?
Schools are not required to follow the US CDC's guidance that calls for vaccination, universal masking, and more. But some kids are too young to get the vaccine, removing one of those layers of protection.
I would be very concerned if my children were in elementary school, too young to be vaccinated, but the staff, the faculty, the teachers are not vaccinated. I mean, that would be a concern.
Now, two new mechanisms that state and federal leaders hope will boost vaccination rates. One, data published by Maine DHHS that details the vaccination rates of school staff at hundreds of public and private schools in the state. And two, a new rule from President Biden and OSHA giving public sector employees a choice: get the vaccine or submit a negative COVID test result every week.
We know these strategies work even with Delta, vaccination, ventilation, distancing, masking, and testing.
The misinformation that's been out there throughout this pandemic has just done harm and prolonged it. And we hope to be sure that we are, as you said, getting closer to that light at the end of this very long tunnel.
So this change raises a lot of questions for school workers, obviously, and parents as well. And you are already sharing your questions with us. Carol asked us, she said, "I'm not a teacher. I am wondering if the state or school will provide the tests, or will school staff be required to seek out their own test on their own time and their own dime?" So I reached out to the State Department of Labor, and this is what they said. "This is another question that we need to wait for the final rule from OSHA for. We will let the public know as soon as we have more information from the federal government."